prepare to launch in 3, 2, 1.
What's up there, ComixLaunch world, comic book creators, crowdfunders? Good to be with you. This is Tyler James. I have a really cool conversation queued up and ready to go with a couple of great creators that are doing cool things on Kickstarter. And I'm excited to get that going in just a minute. Before I do that, though, just a little bit of exciting housekeeping. I want to thank everyone that supported the comic book crowdfunding planner launch. My massive shipment just arrived, checked into my warehouse, and then I got a first box or carton of these bad boys for myself. If you supported the Kickstarter campaign, know that everything that can ship has already shipped. If some late stragglers just got their stuff in, so those are going out today, and we're I think at like 93% complete on the pledge manager. So if you happen to not complete your pledge manager over on Kickstarter, please do that. You can you get access to pledge manager? Just go to the comic book crowdfunding planner Kickstarter page, and the button that says that used to say back this project, that has been turned to go to the pledge manager. And so you should be able to fill that out. One of the coolest things about making stuff on Kickstarter, sending it out to backers, is that you start seeing it show up on the social feeds. And so I'm excited to see that MJ got her book. My buddy Rich Dewitt got his book. Ryan Clater got their book. Rob Moltari, he bought the most planners during the Kickstarter launch. I should send him a little bit of a bonus there. Jason Sandberg also got his. So it's just always cool to see these start showing up and seeing some creators put these to good use for their own Kickstarter projects. Now, if you happen to miss the Kickstarter campaign and you now want to get your hand on one of these bad boys, no longer on Kickstarter, but I have set up a special link. Just it's a similar link, ComixLaunch.com/planner, but you will find that now redirects to a very simple checkout page for you to grab your planner. It's got all the details about the planner and the ability for you to just simply jump in. We've got your FAQs. We've already got some of these images pumped up there. And the sale price, the price it's going to be on Amazon and everything else, is $39.99 is the after launch price. But for the first 50 or so, they're going to be $5 off. And so they're $5 off right now, ComixLaunch.com/planner. I'm actually going to change this right here so that it says not on Kickstarter, just get the planner. There we go. Doing this in real time just for fun. But yeah, you can go there, get it. It's $5 off. And for a limited time, we've got free US shipping. And you also have the ability to double your order and save when you grab two, or to add a printable PDF for just a little bit of an upsell there. So if you want to get your planner, if you haven't grabbed it already, you can do that now, and these ship out immediately. So excited to have that going. All right. Today, I am pleased to welcome two awesome guests. One of them right there has his planner already. Glad to see that. I am being joined by the madmen behind Bloodline Comics. Bloodline Comics is an awesome imprint. They make a lot of waves on Kickstarter. They're friends of the show. They've been on many a time. So we'll have returning champion Clay Adams. Clay, you know him from his work with Fried Comics. He's the co-writer of Red Xmas and does some other great stuff, PBOW, all sorts of comics. And he's also known as a voice actor. Yeah, it does a lot. He does a lot. So I'm not going to run down the whole list of Clay's accolades, but it's good to have him back here. And then he's also joined by his Bloodline Comics partner in crime here, D.E. Schrader, who is a comic writer, or comic creator, a filmmaker, and is one of. And these are the madmen behind Nightmare Theater, which has been one of the top-notch horror anthologies on Kickstarter. So Clay, David, welcome back.
Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk to you guys. It's been a little bit since you've been on the podcast, and this is a kind of a fun topic because a lot of times when talking to creators and creators come to this podcast, listen to it, they like have these big visions of like, oh, like I'm going to make something that's going to like be a brand or a series, something that's going to be built to last. And you guys are sort of at the, you've done that. You've built a brand in Nightmare Theater that has sustained a number of successful launches, some big launches, some high profile launches. It's spawned some spin-off stuff. But there are some always challenges with success. And one of those challenges is actually selling out. And it turns out selling out can be a little bit of of its own challenge there. So, but Dave, like, thinking about where the Nightmare Theater brand started, initial visions to where you are now, like, what's that journey been like for you?
Well, let's clarify selling out. You mean physically selling out of the copies, or you mean we're sellouts?
We're sellouts.
Okay, so
I mean the prominently placed gluteus maximus in your project image. I'm busting balls.
we are sellouts.
No shame.
It really started because this is now the 5-year anniversary of Nightmare Theater, the first volume. It happened during the pandemic. Clay did his own comics. I did my own comics with Baby Badass. And we just kind of vibed with our sensibilities. And we thought, well, let's get a Kickstarter and do an anthology, specifically a horror anthology, just because horror is kind of evergreen. Yeah. We knew so many creators, and we told you this story before, I think, that we asked everyone we knew, and then everyone said yes. And so we had this gigantic book, 272 pages. And it was a really great way to launch, we thought, not just an imprint, but kind of like a brand. And because, as you know, the anthologies, you have a lot of support with the different creators and the different contributors. So it gave us a really good foundation. And I think we just wanted to make the best book that we could. And that included like the covers and having a through line with our characters, our hostess, Shelley Post Stoker. And then we had origin stories, and we had these little interstitials that kind of brought it together in a nice theme. And so then Clay's idea was, we got to do the second one because the first one was successful. We did the second one. It was like our not cheapy, but like our second follow-up, the sequel.
Our quickie sequel is what
our quickie sequel, and it actually did better even than the first. So yes, it involves spin-offs, but I just think like that journey, that 5-year journey, we've done 3 anthologies. They were really not easy to do. I think that's why the third one we did in 3D, and I said, let's go out with a bang and like kind of end it here. Clay is wanting to like kind of get back to it, and we have some different iterations of how we can do that. But this is just the first reprint, so we have more volume 1 to sell.
Yeah, I mean, a 272 page initial anthology, like that's a blockbuster debut and its own challenge. I mean, 32 different stories. And I was sort of scrolling through the page, and one of the fun things about time is not only have you guys had the opportunity to grow and expand and get more experience under your belt, but with that many creators like participating, all of those creators have so many of them have been super busy over the past 5 years. So like as I'm scrolling through, I'm like, damn, this was a murder's row of creative talent y'all had names, on that first anthology. It's like, if anything deserves to stay in print, it's this damn book.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
like Clay, I mean, you were instrumental, I think, in pulling together that initial roster. But anything to build upon what David said.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a nice surprise that these books did as well as they did. I mean, we knew that an anthology could do well. Like Dave said, we put together that quickie sequel. It was a slimmer volume, and we, one thing that really helped, you ribbed us a little bit about the image, but it's from a great Italian fumetti artist named Emanuele Taglietti. And we had gotten a cover from him for volume 2. And that I think really helped us stand out on Kickstarter. One thing I'm always preaching is the importance of your project image. That's like your comic book cover. When somebody walks into the comic shop, you want your cover to jump off the stands, right? And so it's the same with Kickstarter. Somebody browsing that site, you want your project image to leap off the page at thumbnail size. And Emanuele Taglietti gave us this great cover for volume 2 that really helped us stand out, really helped the project succeed. So we went back to that well. So you can kind of see it there. It looks like something has happened with the crop there.
I think Kickstarter crops on the creator page for some reason.
It's a little,
crop it just a little bit, but
it's a little funky. But we went back to that same well for Nightmare Theater 3D. We saw how well that cover sold. And if you scroll down, you can kind of see how it actually looks. And there we go.
Right.
I don't know what happened to that cropping there, but that cover just sold so well for us. And people seem to be kind of crazy for the Tagliettis that we went back to that well for volume 3. Those did really well. And so when we realized we were just completely out of volume 1, and wanting to sell these as sets at conventions, because people, just had no problem buying these entire sets. We decided, well, what if we got a Taglietti cover for volume 1, and then we could sell the Taglietti collection, of all 3 books. And so, that really was kind of the starting point of the conversation of like, well, what can we, we didn't want to change the interiors because, the book kind of is what it is at this point.
Right.
We didn't want to start going in and monkeying around with adding stories, and does that mess up your page count and whatever. But we wanted to add something special. So we thought getting that Taglietti cover, allowing people to buy the Taglietti collection, would be something special for this campaign.
And also we added the Mexifunk movie poster cover, which was very popular the first go around. It was only in hardcover. So this time around we thought, okay, let's do it as a soft cover as well as a hardcover. So just something a little different for people that may want it, and certainly for people that missed it the first time around.
Yeah. So I mean, I think a lot of great just insights there that would be valuable for creators to just think about is like, every time you launch to be trying some new things, pushing some new things, taking some shots, whether that be working with different talents, different styles of art, especially for your covers. And then when something really pops, do more of it and find ways to build packages around things specifically. With Sync, we found that like, for our limited edition hardcovers, I mean, like we released the first one and we used a CP Wilson cover for that. And then when it came time to do the next one, it's like, well, that sold pretty well. Let's do another one. And now it's like, okay, well, we are locked in. and I just heard from CP the other day. I guess I got to send him the latest hardcover that he did for us. So I mean, that's some good insights. Now, in terms of printing, like one of the things that I've kind of said that is an eternal frustration of I think just about every publisher is no matter no matter what print run size you set, you kind of always feel like you got it wrong, right? Like I mean, if you could go back now and had a time machine, you likely probably would have printed an extra, I don't know how many copies, but there was always that feeling that, well, we should have print more, unless it's the opposite way around, and it's now I'm stuck with all of these books, and how the heck am I ever going to move these out of my house? But what's your approach to like reprint going to be? And any thoughts about just like how many books to print when you do a project like this?
That's a great question. It's a work in progress. I mean, I'm only just now. I mean, I've been doing this for lots of years now. Like I mean, my first Kickstarter was like 2014, and then I kind of got serious about it maybe 2016. So I've been doing this for a while, and I only just now sort of feel like I have a handle on how many books I should order, you know, after a successful Kickstarter, and trying to figure that out. Except even then, I'm pretty certain I'm wrong about it. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's always, you're always going to make the wrong call. Yes, would have loved to have ordered more books in the first place, but at the time, you know, it was the biggest order we'd ever placed. Right. And, you know, I just had mountains of books in my closet, and I was like, how am I going to sell all of these books? Like, they're taking up so much space. How am I going to get rid of these? So, you know, we just couldn't fathom it then. The thinking now, I mean, is, you know, we want to have enough to make sets with volumes 2 and volume 3. So ideally, we would wind up ordering an amount of books that would, you know, allow us to fulfill the Kickstarter, allow us to have the sets to sell, and then, because it's the first volume, maybe a few extras, you know, in case somebody just wants to get volume 1 and doesn't want to go for the whole collection. So where that number is going to wind up being really kind of depends on how the Kickstarter does, and, you know, our remaining stock by the time we place the order. But we're looking, you know, like we're looking at anywhere between, you know, 500 to 1,000 books, probably leaning towards 1,000, but again, it just kind of depends on where the Kickstarter winds up.
Yeah. And I mean, the nice thing about having a couple of different cover options is that you can split that print run across a couple of different options, and have the books that just like, all right, we're going to keep these in stock and have a stockpile, and whereas certain covers are a little bit more made to order.
Yeah.
So yeah, good to hear that. Now, when it comes to an approach for a reprint style launch, I mean, I would say it's probably a good aspiration to make a book so good that people would be willing to buy it twice, right? but was there any, you know, you guys are both veterans of Kickstarter campaigns of all different kinds of things, but was there anything sort of different or unique to doing a launch and putting together a Kickstarter page and offer specifically for a reprint versus some of the other stuff that you've done?
Well, yeah, this was new for us. So we really had no idea. We knew there was a certain number that we had to get to make it work as far as printing it and getting it out and having
the number of the beast, obviously.
Yeah. And so it was like, you know, I think what we set as our target was probably a little lower than that, but I think we're around that now. But it's tricky because we just didn't know. We're like, you know, we're going back to people through our different campaigns. They probably had multiple chances to get this through the Carmilla campaigns as well. Yeah. So they probably have it. So what is how many people actually need this? Now, what helps is when you have this number of creators involved, that they probably want these books at cost and be able to sell them themselves. So, you know, the creators get a break on this. That's not a secret. Like, the creators get a break so they can sell these books at cons going forward. So that helps drive the numbers.
Question for that. Did you guys do something like make a Kickstarter secret reward or something that you shared with the creators on the book?
You just
Yeah.
you just blew it. It was a secret, but it's no longer a secret.
Secret's
Well,
out.
I'm not gonna share the link with anybody. I wouldn't dare do that.
There
But I think
was
that's
for the
that's
creators.
actually. I mean, I don't know that that's a tip that's ever been shared on the Comics Launch podcast, which I think is actually brilliant. Is to actually, give a way that your participants can support the Kickstarter campaign to get their comps and have that help fuel the Kickstarter funding goal and the backer count and everything like that. That actually is pretty damn good idea.
Well,
Credit-
this sells at tables really well. So like all the different creators that sell it, they sell out of them, and
Yeah.
so they want more of them at cost, and then that's profit for them.
Yeah, and so credit where credit is due. I stole that idea from Caleb Palmquist. I was in an anthology of his a long time ago. He did a reprint. I think he did his campaign. I think at the same time he was doing a new volume. I think it was like a combined campaign for the reprint and the new one. But he reached out to everybody who was in the old one and was like, "Look, if you want to buy copies, you can do it through the campaign. Just pledge for no reward. It's X amount of dollars per book, and you can get your copies that way." And so, I'm never shy about stealing good ideas. If it's a good idea, it's a good idea. And we just that was another factor in us deciding to reprint this book. Is not just how well it sold for us at cons, but like Dave said, our contributors were we would get messages, people begging us for extra copies, and we were like, we don't have any more.
Yeah.
Like we don't have any to sell you. So
it was like a shell game. Sometimes we would buy them from someone else that got them from someone else, and at that point you figure we need to do a reprint of this, and it's kind of like our foundation book. This was the book that launched Bloodline Comics, and Clay and I have our history in horror films, and this was just kind of like the book to do it with. And to be honest, though, we really had no idea if it would do 5,000, 10,000 or more. We knew we had to do it. And so it seemed like the best way to do it was to offer the new cover and the new options, and just kind of keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah. And I think that's another good point, is that like to be a publishing imprint that lasts, I don't know that you can have, you can have an imprint and have a successful imprint if you don't have at least something in your backlist that is a reliable producer. I finally like the Seas for Cthulhu book hit 10-year anniversary last year, and so we did a big like new version of the book and changed it up a little bit. But that board book is just still like, it still sells. It's still a tentpole. It's still like the thing like that is still like simultaneously our lead builder and the top seller. And I think every imprint and every publisher out there needs something that is like, hey, this is the great first taste. This is the chicken parm of your Italian restaurant. This is the roller coaster or whatever the marquee thing that everybody has to get, just as an entry point. And so until you have that, if you don't have it right now, if you don't know what that is, if you don't have something, keep trying, keep testing, keep putting stuff out there, because once you do it, it's going to make a big difference in just your ability to drive new stuff. And so I guess I'm curious, like coming out of this launch and this sort of reprint relaunch, does this like where do you guys want to take this imprint? Are you more focused on like smaller spin-off stuff, or is there another anthology down the pipe, or are we good with 3? What are you guys thinking?
Well, first of all, I'm going to write down in my Comics Launch crowdfunding planner here that Nightmare Theater is the chicken parm of horror. So
that is like one of my favorite dishes, though. So that's high praise.
It is high praise.
You can use that as a new Tyler James pull quote if you want.
Yes,
perfect.
The chicken parm of anthologies.
I mean, it's a lot of work to pull these books together. I think I think certainly we're pausing after 3. I think Dave might be happy to be done. We'll see. I'm still pushing. We've got a lot of contributors that that come to us and say, this was a great experience for them. They would like to be in another. I feel like every time I talk to past contributors, they're asking, when's the next one? I've got a story. Somebody was just talking to me at San Diego Comic-Con, pitching me on a story. And I like being able to give people a place to publish and publish those short stories that can go on to become other things. Like, obviously, Carmilla Unbound has spun out of this. Dream Quest actually spun out of Nightmare Theater 2. David Avalone, I believe, did something with his story from this volume. And
then Dave DeWanch, we want to mention, his is the only story that actually has 3 parts through volume 1, 2, and 3. And we are in talks with him to possibly publish a 3D version of his story, which would be cool. It's another spinoff. But I mean, you look at some of the names in there, is Richard Fairgray and David Avalone, Charlie Stickney, David Pepos. Like there's like big names that, I mean, they were already pretty big in the indie world, but they're making waves with the big 2 as well. Yeah. So it's like, it's kind of cool, like you said, to go back and see, wow, this is like a lot of people that they're all doing their own things and doing great things. And it's kind of neat to have them all in this one kind of special book.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned, creators coming back to you and saying they had a really great experience with this. Like, if you had to go back and deconstruct, like, how do you make an anthology a great experience for creators such that they want to keep working with you?
Well, I think part of it is just putting together a great book. I mean, I think, I give a lot of credit to Dave for, he knows a lot of people in the indie world, having, Baby Badass with Action Lab and, those relationships he made there. And I think the LA comic community is very tight as well. And so, Dave had a lot of inroads there. And I think when you can pull together high quality creators, that gives people the confidence that, oh, this is going to be a high quality book. And so then it's sort of like you match that by doing the things like the interstitials and the things that sort of, Dave had a great idea with this first volume, which is that, making it like a film festival. So we kind of divided the stories into different, theme nights of the film festival, if you will. And so, like, I think just having little thematic touches like that and the interstitials that kind of bring it all together, I think that goes a long way to giving people a great reading experience. And then so then when you have a great book that has a great cover, that looks like it's quality, that people can flip through and see, they're going to get a lot of great stories in this massive tome. They know they can sell that book at cons. They know they can make a profit on it. We told people up front, we were very upfront, like, we work on the image model. This is not going to bring you a ton of money. But the more we make, the more you make. And so we tried to do the payout very quickly. We did do creator payouts, plus everybody got 5 comps of the book. And then they could buy it at cost so that they can sell it at cons and make more money. And I think people have sort of seen that that's been good for them. Yeah. And so I don't know. That's my answer, Dave. I don't know if you have something different.
No, that's it. I mean, you want to treat the creators well, and I think we give them leeway to tell their stories. The idea is to make sure that when we're getting their pitches, we like, oh, I like this, and this seems cool, or this is too similar to what we already have someone else doing. So, we're just open with our feedback. We try to be as hands off as possible, but there are some newer creators that haven't done it before. Say the lettering isn't strong enough, and we'll put our editor's cap on there, and it's a lot of work as an editor to put the book together, to make sure people are on the deadlines. It's a lot, right? As you know, Tyler. So, but we also try to be welcoming to like new creators. So it's a mix of people that have a lot of experience, artists that are a lot of experience, but like there's someone that's maybe it's their first one, and maybe they need their hand held a little bit more through the process, and they're grateful for that. And I don't know, it seems like most everyone that we've worked with seems to have had a positive experience, and we want to continue that and have, keep our reputation clean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good things that can come from being a part of anthologies, and for a lot of creators, the ability, like unless you're really, you found the right project or the right team or on a big book, like it may be years into your career before you'd have the ability to like have a book that's going to make it to a hardcover collection. Like as it's a big investment and everything, but an anthology is one way that if you're on it and then you've got cool terms where you can purchase at cost covers, like all of a sudden you've got, a $40 or $30 book for your convention table or for a Kickstarter add-on that every time you launch your other thing, that you can use that as a great showpiece. And then additionally, it's a calling card. These often, there's a lot of creators I know that go looking specifically for talent, and they use backing anthologies as a way to sort of be their cheat code to discovering people out there that are doing good work. So a lot of benefits to being a part of it. Presumably you do something 3 times, you get better and better and better at it. Is there anything just like in the do not do or mistake or lesson learned the hard way that you guys can share just from the process of trying to wrangle what are we at, like 500, 600 pages of content or over the course of this the series? Anything come to mind, like pro tips or definitely do nots?
I mean, I have a very, very specific one regarding Nightmare Theater 3D. So we had never done a 3D book before. And one of the things that I realized after the book was put together and everything was done, so you can see she's wearing those red and blue glasses, right? So those 3D glasses, the red and the blue, funnily enough, those are the 2 colors that don't work in 3D very well, because those are the sort of the colors that you're playing with to make the 3D happen. Now, a horror book, usually the stories are going to take place at night, so you're going to get a lot of blue and a lot of red for the blood.
It's the impact.
Yeah. So it's funny. So there were some things like in putting together that book that I was like, oh, this is really going to be awesome, and then realize, oh, that doesn't quite work as well as in 3D. Whereas like there's a mummy story in there that takes place in the desert, so like everything is brown, and that really pops. And so like that's something I would have loved to have known going in.
But you can't do horror without red blood, so you're kind of stuck with that. But but really, that book looks pretty amazing. Like there's certain stories, like Clay said, like the Nicholas Stone's The Mummy story, that really does just pop off the page. I think Dave Dwanch's, I think our stories did as well. I mean, it's really, really good. There's just some that are a little slightly more muted than you would want with the 3D. The black and white
works
in
well.
3D, things that you wouldn't necessarily think of, but it's just it was a really fun book. That was a hard one. It took a long time. Sean Gaborin really helped us with that process, and I probably wouldn't do it again. But again, it was like the last book so far that we're just going to take a break, and we really wanted to do something special with it, and we're glad that we did. The cool thing is you can get these digital versions, and it's not in 3D. So there's ways to see that one not in 3D too.
Yeah. So speaking about Nightmare Theater, and just that you guys seen any good horror lately that that jumps out to you, or read any good horror that you want to the horror fans that are into your stuff should be checking out?
I will say that we're one day past Texas Chainsaw Day. I guess they re-released Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the theaters. Now that's obviously not a new one, but it's a golden oldie. And I only saw that for the first time a few years ago, and it made a great case for being a vegetarian. I thought they sort of slipped in a subtle message there in a great way, but my pal Alexandro Philippe, who I started Fried Comics with, he was asked by the people behind Texas Chainsaw Massacre to do an official documentary for them. So his movie Chain Reactions, which gets reactions from it's like Stephen King and Patton Oswalt and a few other people discussing Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I guess there was a little sneak preview of it last night with Texas Chainsaw Day, and that'll be coming out soon. And I'm really looking forward to checking that out when I can.
Yeah, it's super cool.
I want to see Weapons. I've not seen Weapons yet. And I did see Sinners on HBO, which I really liked a lot. That was a vampire story. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of in a vampire mode with Carmilla, and so trying to check things out, whether it's new or some back catalog stuff as well.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you?
Weapons is definitely on my list. I haven't seen it yet, but Barbarian, the last movie by Zach Krieger, was one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while. And I am super jazzed about Alien Earth that just dropped on FX. It's I think it may be the best version of what we could possibly be getting, but it's kind of fun because it's the conceit or the challenge with the Alien movies is that it's a monster in the house style movie, and we've got setup and then introduce some people and then kill them off fast and furious, and you're out in 2 hours. To take the Alien concept and to stretch it out over a season of television, they inevitably have to introduce a lot more stuff. And so it's the xenomorphs are front and center, but we're throwing multiple deadly aliens from the darkest regions of the galaxy, and we've got 3 different styles of synthetic futuristic humans and backstories and corporate intrigue. So and it's by Noah Hawley, who does the Fargo series and Legion, and just guy knows how to make good television. So the first 2 episodes were great. I'm planning on watching number 3 tonight, so I'm excited about that one.
Well, it's funny, you mentioned it's Alien Earth, right?
Yeah.
And what claim it, the horror just runs the gamut, right? So when we talk about cinematic horror, that's how we kind of pitch it to people at cons. It's almost every subgenre of horror is covered in these anthologies. So if you like space alien horror, or if you like vampire horror, there's every kind of subgenre covered, and that's what's fun. It's I don't know. There's a lot to explore in horror. And I think it's gotten even more of a, I don't know. There's more weight behind it these days. People seem to appreciate the subtext and the stories that you can tell through the conventions.
Yeah. I mean, if there's one, I think over the past couple of months, the big kind of conversation is about how dead comedy movies are in theaters, and Naked Gun was trying to build their marketing push around the fact that comedy movies in the theaters are dying, but the surefire I feel it does feel like some of the best minds are working in horror, because with usually with relatively small budgets they can do some pretty incredible concepts, and often they don't the monsters or the terror is the star, and they don't necessarily, they can be star vehicles, but I mean, Sigourney Weaver wasn't a massive star before Alien, and you look at most you go back and look at most horror franchises, and it was more the franchise made the star than the other way around.
Right.
So
You're just reminding me because I watched this summer the Jaws 50, the restored version, and also
did you see it in the IMAX?
I saw the doc. No, I saw it at home, but the documentary is really good as well. Jaws at 50, and the idea of like that, the terror, the way to tell a story about terror that you don't see, and they could have done more of it. They probably could have. They could have definitely done more of it. I think he wanted to do even less of it ultimately, because those are the scariest parts, right?
Yeah. I'm one of those, like, sharks are like my big visceral fear. Like it's like touching a stove and your hand goes. I see a shark out the corner, I just have that immediate visceral fear. And I went to see Superman in the IMAX, and the one trailer there was like, for the first time ever. Damn it. I'm like, no way.
It's hard to look away at an IMAX screen.
Yeah, and we got there a little late. We're like in the very front row.
Tyler, does that come from Jaws itself, like the movie?
So I mean, that was probably my first exposure to it, from like just walking, Blockbuster Video back in the day. You turn the wrong corner, shark.
Yeah,
I'll pop back. And like, I tried like exposure therapy. Like I've watched like every major shark movie just to see if I could like
get over it,
down it. But it'll still and now my son knows this, and he doesn't have it at all. So I'm happy for him. But hey Dad, and he likes the monster, the animals versus books. I don't know if you've seen, like, there's a whole library of these where it's like, who would win, a badger or a wolverine? Who would win? Great white shark versus killer whale. Like, he'll attack me with the great whites.
I was 5 when my cousins took me to see Jaws in the summer of '75.
Jeez,
I don't think 5-year-olds should be watching Jaws, but maybe that stayed with me.
Well,
that's terrifying.
We had one vacation that was on Martha's Vineyard, like the year after they did, I don't know, it was Jaws 4 or something like that was like there. And so there's just massive billboards everywhere. Jaws shot here. And I'm just like, this is the worst vacation ever.
Now come to the beach.
Yeah, seriously. Well, speaking of beach, we summer is kind of already wrapping. It feels like it just got started. But as you guys head into the home stretch of the summer and think about the rest of this year, and knock on wood, heading into 2026, what else is on the horizon for y'all individually? Maybe start with Clay. Sorry.
Yeah, well, for Bloodline, we've got a very Carmilla Christmas Carol. So doing a little research here. We got that coming later this year from Bloodline. And then for me personally, I've got a new book coming out called The Grunch, which is I kind of pitch it as White Lotus meets Midsummer. And that's with Fabio Romacci and Ilaria Chioca and editor Frank Pittarisi. I'm having a lot of fun with that. It's super cool. We did a little ash can that I printed up only 100 copies and took to San Diego Comic-Con, and wound up thinking I was only gonna sell or give away a handful of them, and I only brought back like 15 from the convention, and so I sort of put those aside, and I'm gonna sell those on the Kickstarter campaign. That's coming soon. The back half of Blazing Blade of Frankenstein is coming. I've got 4 more issues to do there with Mick Byers. And the final Dream Quest. We got the 3rd Dream Quest coming. So lots on my plate. I got a lot of typing I need to do.
Nice. And Dave?
Well, Clay is a lot busier than I am. I wrote a children's book that I'm still kind of working with. The artist is Ginger Seehafer. It's definitely a departure from anything I've worked on lately, but that's in the works, and I'm still kind of doing some finishing touches on it and going to get the artwork done. And then, of course, a very Carmilla Christmas Carol, which we're currently finishing writing, getting the artwork lined up, and the covers that'll launch at the end of the year, probably November, December. And then we have a couple other things planned, some other like straight horror one-shots that we're going to do probably in the early part of next year.
Very good. Well, I'm excited to see more from y'all, and I'm glad that this Nightmare Theater Volume 1 reprint is going well and still has, more than 2 weeks on the clock. So lots of time for people to jump in and grab their covers, hardcovers, soft covers, the whole collection, and keep this thing in print. We talked about the importance of, having a backlist that just works and jumps off the table. And these covers and this series definitely is something that does. So I'm excited to see that this reprint is working out well for y'all, and looking forward to seeing more from you.
Thanks, Tyler. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, and I appreciate everyone that have found the time to tune in today. We can't wait to see what y'all launch next. Take care, everybody.